Nothing wrong with that, Jeff.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Snellings.
Present.
Ferris. Behrens.
Here.
Keating. Eichmann.
Present.
Crom.
Here.
Schrader.
Present.
Gracke.
Present.
Quorum is present.
Thank you. First up, we have the approval of minutes from the April 28th meeting.
Move to approve minutes, regular meeting, April 28th, 2025, as written.
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
7-0.
Thank you. Next, we have public comments. Comments in this portion of the meeting will be held to a max of 5 minutes. If you do come forward to speak, please give your first and last name, your address, and ward. Would anybody like to come forward and speak at this time?
Hello, Council. I'm Carol Blocker, 1273 Ashbury Lane in Marysville, and I'm in Ward 4. And I think many of you have heard from me many times before, and it's about the same thing, 12th Road. And I'm understanding from your agenda tonight that you're looking at maybe taking a bid, voting on it, to do gravel from Highway 36 all the way. We'll have gravel all the way, clear out to Limestone Road. And we've dealt with this. I mean, I've been out there 16 years, and we've come before you many, many times, and nothing is getting done. And I understand that it's Township Road, but I would think that the city could do something to make something work out, that you could do something different maybe. Gravel has proven not to work. We have the grader come out there after a rain or, several times after a rain, and they can gravel it and it'll be okay for 1 or 2 days. Then you've got all these potholes, you've got all these ridges to drive over, and it's just not good to drive on. It's not good on our vehicles. There's other areas out there that, I feel like needs to be taken care of. I'm looking at 24 residents just right in our neighborhood on Keystone, East Keystone subdivision. And they all have several children. We have a lot of kids out there, and they're on their bikes. They're right now, unfortunately, some of them are even going out on 12th Road, with their bikes, which is kind of frightening. And I know whether it's gravelled, whether it's concreted, whether it's blacktop, we're still going to have kids out there playing. I know that. But I think that just to make it safer, I would like to see something different done. I think gravel just has proven not to work. And so before you make this decision on what to do out there, I would like to have you consider that. We've all driven on this for so many years. Like I said, I've been on their road 16 years and been here many times and talked to the council. I've talked to the commissioners. I've talked to previous mayors, and it's like it just goes away. Nothing's ever done. And so I know there's things that have to happen. Financing, to make, I know that's the big thing. And I don't know whether you can annex 12th Road. I think maybe you had the opportunity to do that years ago and didn't. So even if you annex 12th Road, then you could do something to it and not be reliant on Township doing something. Township wouldn't do anything. I talked to them, and I've also talked to the commissioners, and this has been a while back. But the first thing they said was, well, you knew what you were getting when you moved out there. My thought to that is the city needed housing. They needed more homes because we were short on homes. And so Tom bought the acreage, he subdivided it, platted it, started building homes. I think we all expected to have good roads to get out to our houses, and I know there's a lots out there for sale yet. And I think about how much revenue that would bring not only the city but the county just through taxes to have those lots sold and more homes built out there. But I don't think people are willing to buy out there, build out there until they have decent roads to drive on. So I just thank you for what you are doing. I thank you for listening to me and just considering it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Carol.
Hi, Council. My name is Emily Rockwell, and I'm a part of the Youth Advisory Council.
Tonight I was elected as the chair for our Youth Advisory Council. I'm super excited for the new position. At our last meeting, we had talked about different ways that we may have wanted to run our meeting. I thought that we were pretty still unsure of what we wanted to do. Tonight we decided that we were going to have a similar agenda to what you guys do now. We talked about pool prices that will be going to the Parks and Rec Committee to be discussed, probably lowering those, hopefully, give a little bit of financial burden, a little cease. We talked about crosswalks and speed limits around the school zones, maybe adding a couple crosswalks, lowering the speed zones. I know Josh is going to be talking to KDOT about that. There's going to be more discussion going to happen about maybe possibly a back-to-school night with maybe pickleball. And then we're going to work with the school and maybe MCAC on some projects to promote the arts and different things for the music, get different ideas out there for the youth. Do you guys have any questions for me? Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks.
Awesome,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
All right, would anybody else like to come forward and speak during public comments? Seeing none, we will move on to the next item, not on your agenda, but in front of me is a poppy proclamation that I would like to read. Fuzzy. Okay. Whereas America is the land of freedom, preserved and protected willingly and freely by citizen soldiers, whereas millions who have answered the call to arms have died on the field of battle, whereas a nation at peace must be reminded of the price of war and the debt owed to those who have died in war, whereas the red poppy has been designated as a symbol of sacrifice of lives in all wars, and whereas the American Legion Auxiliary has pledged to remind America annually of this debt through the distribution of the memorial flower, therefore I, Todd Fry, Mayor of the City of Marysville, Kansas, do hereby proclaim the 26th day of May, 2025 as Poppy Day, and ask that all citizens pay tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in the name of freedom by wearing the memorial poppy on this day. Would you like to give any comments, Diane?
No. I'm Diane Schroller, and this is Jennifer Taphorn, and I'm Poppy Chairman, and she is our treasurer of the Legion Auxiliary. So we're just thank you for the support, the Marysville City Council for your support of American Legion Auxiliary Poppy Day. So we hope we have a good day, and we hope the weather's nice. It's always nice. But if not, we put out cans around town too. So if we don't catch you, we try to come down here. But if we don't catch you, we try to put cans around town for Poppy Day. So, and
Do we need to approve that?
so, and hope you will attend the Memorial Day services out to the cemetery. It's always really very nice ceremony. So,
And don't
okay.
forget the bridge ceremony too, that morning.
Oh yeah, the one out to the bridge on the south part of town. So, yeah, at 8 o'clock in the morning, I
Yep,
think.
yes.
So you need to get up and going. So, and the bridge looks wonderful out here. They put out the flags on the bridge out here west of town. So I don't know if you've noticed that yet. So, but
Very nice.
yeah. So, okay.
All right, well,
Thank
thank
you.
you very
Thank
much.
you.
So
Yeah.
proclaimed.
And thank your veterans.
Yes.
They always appreciate that if you thank them and shake their hands. So, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have notices and hearings. We have a condemnation hearing for 409 North 14th Street. If you'll find in your packet the inspection report from City Inspector Ralph, along with some pictures of the structure in question. We just need to,
Do we need to condemn
Open.
it, considering?
Right now,
it's
we are
down in
just
the
doing a
agenda?
hearing. Later on in the agenda, we have both an economic development and a condemnation.
Right.
So later on, we will talk about those. Right now is just a hearing
if there's anybody
for any comment.
Anybody has comment on it, would like to come forward,
So we'll need to open the hearing and
so. Roll call. hearing?
Open
You
here.
just
Just
open
need
the
to
hearing.
gavel it in.
Yeah.
Okay, the hearing is open in regards to 409 North 14th Street, unsafe and dangerous structure. Would anybody like to come forward at this time to discuss or give comment? Seeing none, I will close the hearing. Moving on to business and discussion items. First up, Big Blue River Days request from One Marysville. Wayne.
Good evening, everyone. Wayne Cruzy with One Marysville, here to talk about Big Blue River Days. The request is in your packet, but to put some things in perspective, as we analyze data from last year's Big Blue River Days, we use that information to plan this year's Big Blue River Days. So last year we saw that 2/3 of the people that came to Big Blue River Days were from outside of Marysville. So people were coming from Manhattan, Beatrice, Seneca, and Wymore. When we looked at the Manhattan data, that saw a significant increase, and we think that's due to, we certainly targeted that population. So we're saying that this event obviously is great for Marysville citizens, but it also has a regional draw as well. But as we analyze that data a little bit closer, we noticed that 38% of the people only spent 45 minutes at Big Blue River Days. And so we're like, okay, what are we going to do to get them to stay longer? Because when we know when people stay longer, they're going to experience our town in more fullness, they're going to be more likely to come back, and they're going to spend more money with us. So as we looked at that, we talked to our downtown businesses specifically, and so many of them are going to be open from 9 to 2. So as you're walking downtown, if it's a hot day, you could go right inside to cool off, if that could at least get you inside. Also last year, we heard from the ladies that they needed more things to do. So that shopping will be a draw. The Kester House Museum and Gardens is adding a special event for ladies. And then on South 8th Street, you'll notice we have a craft and vendor fair. So all of these events are designed to draw the ladies and then hopefully get people to stay longer. At the same time, we're looking at expanding our activities for families and young ones, thinking about what we heard during public comment from our high school students. So we've partnered with Robert Harris. If you go to Robert Harris's house, he's my mother's neighbor in Herkimer. His house is almost a museum to Hot Wheels cars. And so he came in and he said, I've got all these Hot Wheels cars, I've got these Hot Wheels tracks, can I bring them downtown to the kids area? So we've added some Hot Wheels races, we have bounce houses, and then we have other activities like pickleball, a 2-day event designed to get people of all ages to town. So we're anxious to see how this year goes. You see our request in your packet. I'm here if you have any questions about that.
Does anyone have any questions or comments about the items bulleted in the report?
Move to approve the request.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I mean, what are we voting on?
The items in the request.
first one.
The-
The first thing, okay.
Was that in?
Huh?
So that's
No.
nay? Okay. 6-1. All right. And then we have the One Marysville request for funds, item number 2.
Yeah, so I included in that report some history of our transient guest tax dollars over the past 10 years. So you can see that our transient guest tax dollars are holding their own. If you even look at this year, you know that every quarter you're giving to our organization $20,000, and you'll notice our transient guest tax is even higher than that. So as we look at those numbers and then mix it with our data from Placer AI, it gives us a more nuanced picture. We obviously see from our transient guest tax dollars that people are staying here, which is good. But as you start to delve into those numbers, it's kind of like what we see at Big Blue River Days. Are there ways that we can capture the other visitors to get them to stay? So when you think about the city's daily population, half of us are residents, another quarter are those who are commuting into town to work, and another quarter are visitors. Basically, that happens on a daily basis until you get to the weekend when you see a huge influx of visitors, especially on Fridays. So as we think about how they're interacting with the city, when you look at our Placer AI data, it probably isn't surprising that one of the things that draws people to Marysville is Walmart, and our gas stations. And so as we think about how people are coming, if you start to look at what they're doing, they come and they go, they come and they go. And so things that we're thinking about is if they're coming, how are we interacting with them? How are we helping them understand, oh, while I'm here, I should hop on the Blue River Rail Trail, or I should hop downtown, or I should go to a museum, whatever it might be. So looking at that data to figure out how are we going to get people to stay longer. And so even when you think about in this broader picture of like what we're doing with common consumption, what we're doing with activating that space off the 7th Street corridor with Food Truck Fridays and Brown Bag Bites, we need to think about shade, we need to think about seating, we need to think about how are we getting people to hang out longer. We applied that philosophy this past weekend at Mother's Day Market because when we looked at that data, it was similar to Big Blue River Days, and that duration time was about an hour and a half. And so we put up more picnic tables, we added some shade, we added more outdoor toilets, just to make things flow and to encourage people to stay longer. So as we've been thinking about things that are coming down the pike, we were talking to, Josh and I have been talking about more outdoor seating in downtown Marysville. So that's what part of this request is. As we think about getting people to hang out, have a great time, this would be one step forward to help us achieve that. Because when you think about downtown Marysville specifically, there really aren't great places just to hang out. And so by starting this process to add some downtown furniture, we're thinking that would help us do that.
So what are council's thoughts on the request for transient guest tax dollars?
With this seating, would that be included in the area where we just did the drinking?
Yeah.
Common
Consumption area?
Right now, where we were thinking, it is exactly in that area. So we were thinking a couple benches inside of Pony Park, but then also one next to the music instruments on the 7th Street corridor, which was actually a request from one of the parents that came to the first Youth Advisory Council meeting.
Because where the kids are playing, there's nowhere for the parents to
Yeah,
sit.
exactly.
Yeah.
We definitely don't have enough seating down there, that's for sure.
So if you put shade structures up, what do you intend to put?
We're not that far yet, Colleen.
Okay, well, you said,
Yeah,
you said you were gonna spend the money on shade structures.
Absolutely. Kevin's son, Ben, is the one who's been doing some of that research, but we know, like when you're in Pony Park,
Yeah, there's no shade.
there's no shade. There are certain, I think in that sense, Colleen, I'm not for sure where your question's going, but we're not looking at permanent right now, but some temporary stuff that could be used. Like I would love to have something that we could take to that 7th Street corridor area for Friday, for our first Food Truck Friday, but then could also be movable for Friday afternoon or whatever it might be.
This request is just specifically for the bench and garden chairs.
Yeah.
And
Seating
Yeah.
only.
Yeah.
And that transient guest tax, that usually goes to one Marysville, correct? Or-
We have a contract with One Marysville for, with our transient guest tax dollars for events and other types of stuff to try to get more transient guest tax dollars in. So trying to get hotel rooms in, and they understand that as long as they can, then, the money is there in order to keep
It's
going
a
on that
cycle.
contract.
Ideally, it's a
Yeah.
cycle that
Right.
feeds itself.
But the contract we have with them is, we pay them $80,000 a year, correct? Yeah.
Yep. And Sammy, I can't believe I didn't put the current balance in there. If I say 133,000, does that sound kind of close?
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
I know it's over 100, but yeah, I think you're close.
Move to approve the request for funds.
Second?
From transient guest tax?
Yes.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the request, $3,499.96 from transient guest tax. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Wayne.
Okay, next up we have an extension of premises request from Sarges.
Move to approve request.
Second.
And this is for the Big Blue Barbecue.
Just so council understands, this is a backup plan in case the common consumption area does not get approved by ABC in time. We still feel like it will be approved, just the in time is the question.
And we are just wide open on when that might be, we get notification.
They had given me a timeline of 2 weeks for approval of it, and then 2 weeks for approval of subsequent applications from business owners. So that puts us close to a month, and it was submitted about a month before Big Blue Barbecue Days, so.
Okay. So this will just give a little redundancy to make sure
Yes.
they have the ability. Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve the extension of premises request. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right. You'll have in front of you Resolution 2025-06, extension of premises request.
Move to approve Resolution 2025-06, extension of premises for Sargis at 718 Broadway.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next up, you have the Resolution 2025-07 for 900 Alston Street, by nuisance. See, there are pictures along with Inspector Ralph's report.
To approve resolution 2025-07 900 Austin.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next, you have Resolution 2025-08 for 407 South 14th Street, also in regards to a nuisance.
Move to approve resolution number 2025-08.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next up, you have Resolution 2025-09 for 408 North 9th Street, a nuisance as well.
Move to approve Resolution 2025-09.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And next you have Resolution 2025-10, a temporary exemption for Big Blue Barbecue.
Move to approve resolution number 2025-10 for.
Second.
Okay, is there any further discussion? So moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Now, we're back to 409 North 14th Street. All the way around.
Yeah, so at 409 North 14th Street, as you can see, an economic development form was turned in for this property. So today before the council, we have a choice. We can either continue with economic development, you know, with it meeting all the criteria as it is recommended by our building inspector, Will Ralph, or you can move forward with the condemnation. Generally, with the economic development, I believe it is 90 days that is given to the property owner. An extension of it.
How's it an or? So we're paying them to tear it down
If they do not meet the timeline, then you could.
if they don't meet the
Yep.
timeline.
I think in general, we've wanted to encourage people to use that economic development format, so we've leaned into it, but it's a council decision which direction we go forward.
They seem like they're willing to get this done.
Yep, they had picked up the paperwork, maybe a week before we sent out the agenda. And then they got it in just in time for the agenda, so just in time for the hearing.
Move to approve the application for economic development.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So we need to take no action on number 10, or do we still need to?
I would say maybe delay it.
Just table it, or do we need
Yeah.
formal?
Just table it.
Table it for 90 days.
Hold it for now, keep it in the back pocket. Moving forward to number 11, a computer replacement request. Josh, can you speak to that?
Yes, so city staff was notified by Network Computer Solutions that Microsoft will be, I don't know the right term, will be going away from some of the systems we currently have in regards to Windows. So we are required to update our computers, which means that we are moving a year ahead of schedule of what we had planned to. We had planned on putting it in our budget for this next year and going ahead and doing it. So this request is asking that we take the money out of the Municipal Equipment Reserve Fund and then reimburse it from the general fund next year, similar to what we did with the car this past year.
So it's in the net, it's the same as it would have been? with
Yes, yep, and we have a deadline of October.
So we cannot wait.
Yep.
This is just something that needs to be done, getting around it or waiting or anything.
Yep, and this includes City Hall's computers and the police department's computers. It does not include other departments' computers because those are already outdated, which they're fine.
So that's the question, what are they gonna upgrade you to?
The newest Windows, I don't know.
There is no new, 11 is the newest Windows.
There's an 11 something, I can't remember
If you look
what
on
it is.
there, Windows 11 24H2. Yeah.
And probably Microsoft 360 and,
Yeah.
Teams and all that cool stuff.
Do you already have Microsoft with all the teams and all that
Yep,
stuff?
yep, and we
Yes.
have that membership through NCF.
On the bright side, we already budgeted for it for next year, so at least in the end it'll come out.
Is this is just one contractor that's supplying this, correct?
Yeah, so this is through our current.
Network Computer
Yep.
Solutions.
Move to approve the computer replacement request.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I don't know.
Next up, we'll have the 15th Street Storm Sewer Contract.
This is just the contract with Carlson Utility. We have spoken with them and they have said that they are looking to start it in the summer. That's as specific as they got, unfortunately, at this point. So we will keep talking with them and try to get a date from them.
And what's the projected completion time once they start?
I would have to see the working days.
September 1st.
Yep, September 1st was what it said.
Late start date. Okay,
Is September 1st the late start date?
that's what it
Yes,
says.
that's the late
Late
start
start date, but
Yep.
what's the?
95 days after.
95, okay.
Yep.
They're gonna be pushing it to
Pushing
weather
this,
if they
yeah,
hit,
in
and that's, I'm
December.
sure what they're thinking with that date, but.
Yep.
Well, we've talked about this long enough, so,
Yep.
Needs done.
move to
Yep.
approve the 15th Street Storm Sewer Contract.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the contract. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
7-0.
All right. Next, we have 12th Road bids.
As you can see, we received 3 bids from fairly local contractors. One is clearly the low bid, and they are a local contractor. So if we are wanting to move forward with this project, I would suggest trying to get, advising city staff to try to create a contract with this group.
And just for conversation, this is one where we talked about going to rock to get ready to do something else in the future.
A temporary solution.
So just
To
for
the
the,
long-term
just
plan.
for the community to know, this is not a long-term solution. This is just to make the roads safer at this juncture. And then it will set us up for success when we do decide to do the more permanent solution.
Because we have to build a base, right?
Correct.
And the
But
state-
when will we do that? Because it's been 15 years now that we had talking about this.
That's up to us.
and we keep kicking the can.
Well, it's
And
up
where
to
are you
us to
gonna get
keep-
the money right now, Jeff?
It's up to us. to
The
budget.
money's been there all along.
Yeah, it's up to us to budget for it, and plan it, and execute on it. The
The-
executing on it's the thing that hasn't happened.
The sales tax fund was originally set up to put in the levy, correct? The railroad project?
That was part of it, I don't remember how.
And then it was to go towards road improvements, and I think at one point in time, we voted on it again, so it wouldn't expire, and changed where that money was going, and we've been using that money ever since
General governmental purposes.
to do other things. And we've gotten very hungry because we have that money coming in, so we can do other things, add other employees, and we need to go back and think about the fact that we haven't really spent that money the way it was originally intended to do. Now, that was a previous council. Previous council also decided to put, when they annexed the properties out there, they decided to chip and seal the road, and then we never touched it again after that, after the first couple of years. Never touched it one time. I've lived out there in that direction since that project was done, and we're in the situation that we are because we never touched that road after the original chip and seal.
Just patching holes.
Just patching holes for 20 years now, probably 25.
And I know the biggest argument for that was it's not ours, so why are we spending money?
Well, the road's ours,
Not all of it.
down to Kiowa.
Down to Kiowa. That's what I'm saying. That was, from what I can remember, I haven't been here
And if-
forever, but that was the biggest.
And if I hear one more time that, well, you chose to live out there, my argument will be, is if we have a road down on South 3rd Street that needs a total repair, let's tear it up and put gravel on it.
So,
That's my argument to this whole situation. Instead of fixing the problem, let's put a Band-Aid on it again.
well understood, and
Yes.
I've only been advocating, as long as I've been on council, for somebody from the neighborhood out there to be the squeaky wheel that you're squeaking about. So that's good, and I get it. I think the thing we can all agree on first is it's a safety issue.
Totally understood, yes.
Okay, so this.
But it's not just, it's
not
not
the
the
only-
condition of the road, people drive 50, 60 miles down the dang thing.
Well, yeah.
You know, and we're not policing that.
So we agree.
I mean that
Yeah.
I don't mean that literally, we police it, but.
But we agree we need to remediate the safety issue and not only plan but execute on a actual solution.
And
This
what is,
not the solution.
what is our maintenance gonna be after we put gravel down? We don't have a decent motor grader. We're not behind a motor grader to take care of,
It'd have to be contracted.
okay.
I mean, I believe, I don't know if Josh has opinion on this, but my thought is that we would probably have to contract it with someone.
Yeah, so currently we would contract out motor grading with somebody and they would, do all the maintenance on the road if it were to go over to gravel. Obviously, continual maintenance would be on the contractor, but of course on us to make sure that it is up to standards. So we would need to choose the contractor, you know.
And the first time that we tried, one of those snowstorms where you get enough snow out there to have to actually go out and move a little drifts and stuff. First time that happens, this gravel we're buying is gonna be in the ditch. And then we're to be buying more gravel. And then 5 years from now, we'll still be buying gravel. So we gotta be serious about this.
Absolutely.
We can't keep kicking this can down the road, and we can't say, well, we only own part of it. We need to work with the city, or with the county and the township. The residents out there should have a decent way to get to their properties. It's in our best interest to get the other 19 lots filled with homes, because we all like our sales tax money coming in here, and our property tax money coming in here. And the closest thing we have to lots in this community, that moderate income housing, is there. We obviously are not promoting the infill housing within town. We're not doing it, if you think about it. We haven't seen a single, I could think of one home that's been put on a lot. It'd be Mr. Swinneman's home down there that he just put in, down by ladders.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing we've done, other than, luckily, we have some moderate income housing coming into the Kester block. But we gotta go to the next step, and where's that next step gonna be to get some moderate income housing coming into our community?
And ideally, it's where we have infrastructure.
And that's where we have new infrastructure, that we don't have to go line the sewer pipes and all that kind of stuff, so. I mean, if we're gonna tear the road up, fine, take care of it, and then come up with a plan to fix it, long term.
So how many infill housing lots do we actually have?
I can't remember how many lots were filled out there currently, but I
No,
believe
but I
it
mean,
was
in town, infill.
in town. Okay, I have not counted those up. That is something that we are looking at on what we need to do in order to take care of houses that could potentially be condemned. Maybe grabbing some of those properties and making sure that we can get them into the hands of.
Well, and that's the problem, is when you have a lot next to you, Colleen, in certain parts of town, and it gets condemned or goes on the market, the person that lives next to it buys it and turns it into a garden spot. And that's one more house off the market. And if we continue to do that, it's gonna be desolate in certain parts of town.
Mine isn't an infill, mine's FEMA lot next to me.
And as of right now, we can't do
Right.
anything with FEMA lots.
Right.
There's more of those than there are infill lots.
Right.
Unfortunately, yeah, we cannot,
Well,
But we
to
are
Jeff's
looking at
point,
solutions
if we
for
want-
But there's
Right.
19 infill lots in a certain spot, and we got to, I wanna use a term, but I'm not gonna use it, so.
So, and facilitating growth there is going to mean a lot of things, but amongst them is a good way to get there.
Yep. Growth to something we've already invested in,
Right.
and significantly invested in it.
Yeah, but just to add, this is the first step in getting things done. We're fixing sewers, we got funding for that coming in, we're doing a lot of things. We're going as fast as we can with the money that we have. But this still needs to be done. If we leave it the way it is and wait to do the permanent thing, it's never gonna happen. So we have to at least do something. So this is at least a step in the right direction to get it started, to get a base, to get things going, but we need to stay on top of it. That's our responsibility.
And we need to get planning, but like, again, all the plans in the world, there's plenty of projects here we've planned to death. Planning, but budgetary funds in the pipeline to fix it.
And we don't need to think that we have to hire BG consultants to come in every time we wanna put a couple feet of pavement down. That we have experts in our community that can help us with those kind of things.
If they're willing.
To the
They're
point-
willing. Drive down the Oketo Road, drive down the road going to Greenleaf. I mean, there's all kinds of places. I'm so sick of people talking about, well, we gotta have this perfect road, because 11th Road so far going south is not perfect. Far from it, the concrete's deteriorating already.
What is this in the budget for, Josh? Is this 2026, 2027? What are we looking at?
Ultimately, that's up to council. I believe while we were talking 2026, we were planning on focusing on other roads, and then 2027 was when we would try to focus on 12th Road.
There's the word try.
I mean, ultimately, it is up to the council
It's
each
a-
year,
and-
and with an election going on, you know, who
It's-
knows who will be on here at the time that that budget is created.
And that's why, and that's the unfortunate thing with budget cycles and turnover on the council, because you can only hang so much on the future. But we have to commit to actually funding it and saying, we're not gonna try, we're gonna find a way to put it in 2027 budget, even if that means pulling money from some other project.
While this council could put it in the 5-year capital improvements plan, ultimately, it's the next council that will make that decision of what is in the budget.
And I think it's incumbent upon us to continue to reach out for alternate sources through state legislation. You know, our representatives, she was more than happy to come and speak with Jeff and I in regards to not only 12th Road, but 8th, Jayhawk, you know, just, she was very open to listening to our proposals and our needs as far as finding state funds.
Because they have helped other communities.
They've helped other communities.
That's how 11th Road going north was built.
Yeah.
They used the surface transportation funds. and the county partnered with the city to put 11th Road in.
So
I mean,
we
what-
need to
what-
explore that
What
partnership.
Barnes used, the Ike grant, isn't that what that was?
Yeah,
called?
Barnes used the Ike grant,
It was the
yeah.
Ike grant.
But so
Did the whole town.
Yeah, they did
as
their
far
whole
as
town.
partnership, you know, I personally don't go talk to our commissioners, but I feel like we've got, you know, some newer folks in there. There might be a chance for us to build some cohesion there. Do you agree, Jeff?
Yes, I totally agree. I would love for the mayor to personally go talk to our commissioners.
Well, I think that could be a mayor and city administrator task, but no, I don't disagree. I think we need to explore all our avenues, and like I said, all the planning is fine and good. I've been here almost as long as Kevin, and we've had a lot of plans, but we really need to come up with a timeline, and then we just gotta hold ourselves to it, and we gotta do our best to, everybody on here has to keep seeking reelection. And so you're held to it, because the only way to move it along is to not just plan it, but execute on it, get the funding pipeline set. You know what I mean? I think that's what we need to do, and whether we leverage our representatives in Topeka, and whether we leverage the county, you know, and try to build something cohesively there. It may take all of it, but we need to pull out all the stops. It's, you know, Jeff's, you know, basically saying it's time to stop mucking around and actually solve the problem.
Yeah, it's gone long enough, honestly.
It is getting pretty old that we keep putting it off and off and off and off, you know. It's getting tiring to always doing that, so.
I'd love to have 8 more new homes in town. Honestly, I would.
Well, yeah.
But they're not gonna move in if we don't have decent roads to
Yeah,
drive to get to.
but I would love to see it. I mean, I think that's where our community is gonna find our growth. That was one question when we interviewed our new director with Partnership for Growth, is the one question he wanted to know, what is our future of Marshall County? Well, we want to see a growth of, the person that said it, he was being facetious. He said 20,000 people. I would love to see 500 in 20 years. A net of 500, not what we're seeing now. And with all these nice things we do downtown, to make that really work and grow, we have to find that net in the next 20 years of 500 people, 100 people, whatever that number is. But we gotta see a net increase, not a net decline. And the opportunities are out there for us right now.
I know our new director of Partnership for Growth, since we're members, is new in the role, and I'm not sure what direction it'll go in. I know previously the partnership had talked more about housing, so you bring up a good point. Is this something that we can leverage that as well to help
Yes,
move this off?
most definitely. And Josh, you're on the board now with us. Most definitely, his primary goal for his first 6 months is 1, membership, and then 2, housing and childcare. And I think he's gonna bring a lot of cards to the table that we haven't had in the past, as far as an economic development person. And I look forward to working with him, and I hope the council looks forward to working with him, because he has a different perspective on things, and he has a lot more contacts than any of us do. So, his name is Mike Miller. He was the previous Nemaha County administrator at a county level. So he's going to wait till he officially takes his role before he talks to us.
Understood. So basically, to recap all this, we need to not only plan it, we need to fund it, and we need to move the process forward and not just keep kicking cans.
More Band-Aids.
And I think that we've spoken about this ad nauseum. But I think it's important to realize what kills these projects, and that's the mobilization. So we need to try to find a way to make this work where we can do that all in one shot, just so we can
Agreed.
make it more affordable for us in the long run, because things are not going to get cheaper.
No.
So,
Good point.
So
all I have to say.
that was a lot of discussion. So we go all the way back to what the subject in the agenda, which is the 12th road bids.
Move to approve the bid from Don Bruna Construction in the amount of $16,700.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
7-0.
Okay, thank you. All right, next up, we have ordinance 1945, separate water taps. This is a recommendation of the Water and Sewer Committee. It's been discussed at length. To approve ordinance 1945.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
Again, this is just a good medium ground. You can use the same water connections. You don't have to have another water pit with the water meter and all that extra cost, but you still have to tap into the main sewer line.
Trying to find the balance
Yep.
to protect the city and our interests, but also not discourage construction development.
And once again, this only allows one accessory building per residential lot to share a water tap. So it's not all 5 buildings that are on the lot.
But,
It's just one accessory building.
But this covers a separate sewer tap.
Yes, it also
Yes.
will.
So they
say
still have to pay a separate sewer tap, but they can continue to use water at a 1 meter.
Yes, for
Okay.
their primary residence and their accessory,
Okay.
one accessory building.
Will that be tapped in after the bid then, correct?
The accessory building.
Huh?
The accessory building?
Yes, that'll be after the bid, correct?
Yep.
Okay, any further discussion? Roll call?
Snellings?
Yes.
Barons?
Yes.
Keating?
Yes.
Beichman?
Yes.
Rom?
Yes.
Schrader?
Yes.
Gurecki?
Yes.
Thank you.
I have a correction in it. The ordinance, it says, will be enforced on September 14, 2023, following its passage and publication in the official city newspaper.
Thank you.
That should be 2025.
Good eye.
Other than that, everything should be good. You've looked at the next one yet before we discuss it?
The next one says the same thing.
There we go.
Sounds like copy and paste.
Okay, next up we have ordinance 1946, amending the water connection fee.
Move to approve ordinance 1946.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion
After amending the date.
after amending the date?
Yeah, oh, after, yes.
Okay, roll call?
Snellings?
Yes.
Barons?
Yes.
Keating?
Yes.
Beichman?
Yes.
Rom?
Yes.
Schrader?
Yes.
Gurecki?
Yes.
7.
Thank you. Next up, we have ordinance 1947. This is amending the fireworks sales and discharge. I don't know if anybody else has gotten contacted by anybody
I need
today.
to learn about this one.
Yeah, I
so.
think we all do.
I think we need to let this sit for 2 weeks and bring it back.
I was gonna say.
We have more people can discuss
I
about
still
what's
would
going on
like
with
to
it.
know, like, because this came like straight into our agenda packet.
Yeah, because it came from committee to here.
There was no conversation about it, it was just like straight ordinance thrown into the agenda packet. With
to be-
no information
to
to
be clear,
anybody that's not on the fire and,
This does not need action tonight. This is not a timeline pinch, but go ahead, Josh, I just want to throw that
Yeah,
out
so
there.
let's go through this and explain what all is being changed real quick. It was recommended by the Police and Fire Committee to bring it directly to this body as an ordinance. Now, that once again, that doesn't mean that it needs to be passed tonight. We can sit on it for another 2 weeks. We can sit on it for a year if we really wanted
No
to.
factory or
So this changes the sale period from June 20th to July 7th of each year. Same times during the day as what was before. This year, the state passed a new law that would allow for the selling of fireworks to be year-round. So that's what has opened this up. It was suggested by a fireworks vendor to change it to these dates to allow an extra week and add some extra time at the end. So that way they can try to move on, like move some of their product at the end. You know, whether that's through sales or whatever. And then, let's see. Because the new law goes into place July 1, it would not affect this year on the early sale date. That would still be June 27th, just like it has always been, if it were to pass as is. It also changes the discharge time. So it is now extended to the same days, the 20th through the 7th of July, and then also adds new discharge times for Fridays and Saturdays. It'll change it from 10 a.m. from the 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. to now the new time of 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. on those Fridays and Saturdays, excluding when July 4th falls on those days. Then it's still until midnight. Those
So
are the only
we're trying to circumvent the fact that the state is going to allow all year sales.
We're trying to get ahead of it in a way. Basically, we would be only adding 2 days this year, whereas the next year we would add an additional 7 days on top of those 2.
And not only that, but other communities are already doing this. So we're sending people away from us, away from our vendors, because we're not allowing these early sales. Other communities are already allowing these early sales.
But they can't do the early sales this year if it doesn't go into effect until July 1st.
Correct. This year will not matter anyway.
Right.
But that we're just trying to keep our vendors, the people that work in Marysville to sell fireworks, we want them to have the same ability to sell just like all the other communities. We don't want all of our people going to Nebraska or Wyoming or wherever to get their fireworks, you know.
Or going out in the county where there is no restrictions.
Right.
If we were to go to what the state is changing to, we could allow it year-round selling, and I believe year-round discharge, if we wanted to. So this was almost a happy medium, you know, still extending it, but not too far out of it. There have been concerns already brought forward by individuals, like the mayor had spoke about. There was an email earlier today. It outlined concerns with safety hazards, but then also loud noise and distresses for people and animals. So those will also need to be taken into consideration by the council, and they were already taken into consideration by the council committee.
I know, the comments I heard from people who had reached out today was a lot of, they were surprised this hadn't been discussed in this forum yet, and they just wanted to make sure that, you know, if they couldn't be here now, or at least we brought it up so that it could be discussed and they had an opportunity to come forward, which, I memean, does make sense. There are concerns. You know, I'm not without some of my own concerns. I have a dog who we have to drug him up because he can't deal with the fireworks. So the prospect of doing it more doesn't seem too appealing. But I definitely think us making sure we weigh all the viewpoints here does make a lot of sense. And a lot of, I'd say, education as far as what the state's changing. I mean, we're just learning a lot of these changes are coming down the pike and what that means and the timeline for how that will work in the future. So we don't need to take action tonight.
I agree with Kevin. Let's table this ordinance to the next meeting.
As far as Marysville, the fireworks vendors that did come to the committee meeting, there are some pretty stringent rules on selling year-round. They have to have fire suppression systems and all this stuff, and so many square feet, I believe. So there's, you know, there weren't any here in Marysville that I understood that were even interested in doing year-round. But this, like I said, for me personally, this was just a way to allow our vendors in Marysville to have the same ability to make the same amount of money as all the other communities around that are already doing this. That's what it was for me. We just thought if we brought it as an ordinance, all the answers would be, you know, questions would be answered because it's already written down and ready to go. But yeah, with no action, it's just fine. Because it wouldn't come into effect until next year anyway, so it's not a huge deal.
Good.
But I think we will get requests for the weekend till 11 o'clock. If we table this, I can almost guarantee we're going to have people coming forward.
Didn't we change that in the
It was
ordinance?
just 1 year.
The 4th of July?
One
One
time.
year?
That was
Oh,
one
that was
time.
just one time, because it's on a Friday this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I can, I
4th of
will tell you,
July.
we'll probably get requests from people
Well,
to
and
have that.
that's, you know.
4th of July, it's always till midnight, right?
Yes.
On 4th of July. So, and when we talked about the weekends, because if you go June 20th to July 7th, you're likely to have 3 weekends on there, Friday and Saturday, and that's why the state has it that you can shoot till 11 o'clock on the weekends in that time frame. But And
One reason why they were extending the time for the weekends was due to the aerial fireworks, just making sure that they can be seen. Because if you are discharging them, then you are, hoping to see it.
Right, and at 10 o'clock, it's not real
Quite dark
dark,
enough, yeah.
so.
Okay, we will table this
Yep.
until the next meeting. Last item up under business and discussion is policy A-106 regarding grinder pumps, maintenance, and ownership.
Move to approve policy resolution number A106.
Second.
It's moved and seconded. Josh, did you want to speak to a little bit of the rationale?
I think we ought to
behind it?
give a little explanation there.
Yes, so a few years back, the city moved away from keeping grinder pumps for commercial and industrial lots and maintaining them, so that was moved off onto the owner of the lot. This is a similar move, but for residences. This actually will put it immediately into the resident's ownership of it as of September 1. Whereas the others are, once it has failed, it moves, we replace it, and then it moves onto the owner of the lot. One reason why we are looking to move to an exact date is so that we are not holding on to grinder pumps in perpetuity, waiting for something to happen to them. With that, we run into a lot of issues with making sure we have the right parts, making sure we have individuals that can provide maintenance to them. So.
And we do have surplus parts left over. We discussed surplusing those and selling them locally to, as we would with surplus items, but so that they would be available to anyone seeking to purchase those for future potential repairs.
After September 1, because until September 1st, the city will still fix, replace, whatever we have to do to the grinder pumps that we own, but come September 1st, any surplus items we have will be offered to the public to purchase.
Correct.
And this has come before the Water Sewer Committee a few different times. This has also come before council at least once, I believe.
Okay, so is there any further discussion on this? We have a motion on the table. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
11-0.
Next up, we have the consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, so moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Next, we have appropriations ordinance 3847.
Move to approve appropriation ordinance number 3847, amount of $220,271.35.
Second.
Okay, it's moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Roll call?
Snellings,
Yes.
Barris. Behrens,
Yes.
Keating,
Yes.
Bikeman,
Yes.
Rom,
Yes.
Schrader,
Yes.
Gurecki.
Yes.
7-0.
Thank you. Next, we have the city administrator report. Josh?
So for my report, I have brought our water supervisor in to talk a little bit about some issues that started on Friday at the city pool.
Song that never ends.
Good evening. My name is Kent Bargman. I'm with the Water and Sewer Department
Hey, Bargy.
here in Marysville, Kansas.
What's going on, Ken?
Well, there's several things. First off, one of the things, they give us some, Tony, first off, I let Tony handle most of this stuff because I go with the guys when we're digging and I dig and do all that stuff. So I let him do this, but I get called down there when there's something that I need to see or Josh needs to see. And we were having troubles last year with pressures. I believe you all knew that. And they took apart they opened up the sand filters and they were coated, I don't know, was that powdered stuff? Is that what that was?
Chlorine.
Yeah, the powdered chlorine. They were full. So they give Tony, we talked to him and he got a chemical that he put in there to let set for a few days and then backwash it. Well, it didn't seem to do the trick. So that's one thing. So what we're probably gonna have to do there is after this season, before it gets cold, replace that stuff so it's ready to go when the season gets here. Because last year we had to wait on those guys for quite a while to get up here to do that.
So you're talking replacing the sand
The
for the
sand and the
filter.
filters.
Okay.
The
Correct.
filters too?
What's that?
We would do the sand filter and the sand within it, yep.
Is there any way we can contract that now?
Yes.
Close to closing?
We
day?
will go ahead and get in touch with Manhattan Energy and make sure that they have everything ready to go basically immediately.
I mean, the opening on the sand filter is only that big and they had a guy that could squeeze in there. So you're not gonna see any of us get
Hey, Ken, do you mind Courtney coming up real quick?
Yeah, come on up.
She probably knows more.
She was happy to stay back there, but she's happy to be up here too.
And make sure you talk into the.
Yes.
Introduce
So,
yourself.
I think Courtney Porter, pool manager. I'm back in my elements of sweaty, smelling sunscreen. But yes, we've tried the sand filters and the flow is still not going up. So it's truly at this point replacing the sand. And so that does involve somebody getting in there, digging it out. I'm with Kent, we're not part of that, so it would be Manhattan Energy. But last Friday is when we were starting to turn pumps on and get things moving and noticed that there is water coming up from under the concrete on the north side. So I'm directionally challenged, probably north side.
Yes, north.
Yep.
And the 6 foot end, they marked it today.
And it was the slide pump that was on. The circulation pump wasn't on at the time, so it was a slide pump that was pumping this water up out of the concrete.
So it's not clear back by the building again?
No, it's out there by where the 6 foot deep end starts. So it's right there even with the line.
Okay.
We had KRWA come today. I talked to him, what was it, last Friday or Thursday?
Friday.
And I asked him about coming over because they got a leak detector thing that sound wise. And he brought that today. And they put a white dot where the loudest noise was, which is usually where the leak is. I don't know how accurate, I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be a little accurate, but when the pump's on, that's causing vibration too, so you're gonna hear sounds on the whole thing, but that was where it was the noisiest.
Just to clarify, you said the loudest sound, so there are more than one sound?
Well,
Well, just when the pump is
on that one.
Okay.
But so I'm hoping that you let us find somebody to do that and not try to get a track hoe or a little mini in there and try and dig it this time. Get somebody with one of those trailers that they use to vac out to find utilities and clean it out that way. And I mean, because what did we count? 5 pipes?
There are 5 pipes in that area and electric lines.
And there's probably about eight or so conduits in there too. So what we got there is we got a 14-inch pipe, 2 12-inch pipes, and 2 8-inch pipes, I think it was, running right there.
Slide's not operational then?
No, not currently.
Can it be fixed before opening day?
Well, that's what we're asking you guys to move through.
I
And
mean, do we have someone that can show up and get it done?
that I don't know.
Well, I mean, I can start calling tomorrow and see if I can find somebody that will vac it for us and get it. Because we can't get our truck in there. I mean, we could do it with our truck, but you're probably gonna be replacing the rest of the concrete when we pull that big pig in there.
Yeah.
So, but, I don't think we can maneuver it in there anyway.
But the pool itself is operational. We just not able to have the slides on just with the amount of water that's coming out of the concrete.
But we're leaking water too, so.
All the lifeguards that are off duty can just carry buckets and go
Hey,
down.
actually where it's coming out, I was just watering the grass and going right in the drains. So it's working out really well where
So-
it's at. So.
But we're also losing water. And we were all weekend. And
From
I got
someplace
called
other
about-
than that leak?
I don't know.
I got called about it this weekend, and I went over there, and then I called Josh, and he came down there. And the only thing that goes into that catch basin is where they tied in the drain from the pool. And it's the one right just south of the pool there before you get to the, in between the wooden playground and the street, there's a catch basin there. And it was pretty good flow. So, we can either see what's going on there too. We got a couple things we're gonna try anyway, maybe just work the valve good, maybe something stuck on the valve and not letting it close all the way. But it's the valve that lets you drain it out of the deep end when you're finishing cleaning up or draining the water out to get ready for the season. It's that one. But obviously it's not closed all the way or something is broken there because we were leaking water. I mean, if you drive down there by the, what are those gardens called? One of them gardens. Community gardens. Pretty good lake down there. At least there was this weekend. So.
I saw people watering down there.
Not that much. I mean, they could probably pump out of that and water their garden.
But we know it's coming from a drainage pipe or a supply pipe? We don't know.
We don't know.
No idea.
Well, right where we can see it at, it's a drainage pipe. Because they put that pipe in when they built the pool. From that catch basin up to there. There's a catch basin, and then there's a pit with a pump with it in it underneath the slides. Mm-hmm. And that's where it goes. That's where that pipe goes to.
I personally don't think we should waste any time.
No.
I mean,
Good to pull it.
then call it around tomorrow. Hopefully somebody's available to suck,
Well, I mean, there's several people around here that have those. I mean, Young Backhoe has one. Jadwin has one. There's several of them around. I mean, we may have to go help them a little bit, get concrete busted up, but that's a scary deal too because we weren't expecting the conduit to be right underneath the conduit or the concrete one time, and we cut through about 4 of them.
Yeah.
So then we had to fix all that and pull all new wire. So there's just, yeah.
So what's the lesson we learned about this pool?
That we've had more trouble with it than we did the old one.
That we don't build a pool over a creek bed?
Well,
That's not the problem.
No, it is.
I think there's some other lessons about making sure it was built to spec or some of that, because I think that some of it is, they kind of deviated from the plan maybe more than they should have.
That other one was there for 50 years.
Yeah, I know.
But what I tell people, it was not as intricate and had as many features as this one does.
Well, and this one's got all plastic pipe in it. The other one had steel pipe in it.
Yeah, yep.
So that's one thing that we should never ever let happen here again is I mean, plastic pipe's good, but I mean, when you got it buried under a concrete deck and it's running pumps all the time, so it's vibrating constantly, it needs to have a little more oomph to it.
We do have reserve funding to pay for this,
Yes.
thankfully. That is not putting us in that bind. So, yeah, I think we just, all hands on pool deck, as it were, to get it fixed.
Yeah, Godspeed to you,
I'll
Kent.
have
Godspeed.
worse pushback from 8-year-olds than I do
I'll
people about
I'll
the
get started calling people. I may even call people tonight. But when you approved that 15th Street deal, I messaged him and I said, get your butt up here. He says, they still haven't approved all my stuff yet. So, his shop plans or whatever, so.
Oh. We'll keep pushing. You keep
I
sending
will.
out those
Oh,
late
I
night
will.
texts.
I will.
All right.
But, did you have any other questions? I mean, that's basically it. I mean, and Tony told me today that now he's having trouble getting water to go to the chlorinator. They can't get water to the chlorinator to suck the chlorine out into the pool.
it's still part of the flow issue, so that's what's crazy when we get, are you okay?
I just lose my balance a lot.
We need flows up to over at least 1,200 to 1,600, and last year we were pushing anywhere from 600 to 700. This year, we are seeing it in the 800s. Nemo is working, super excited about that. It was gonna be a lot of happy little kids for that one, but we're still just not able to get the flow pushed out, which all just goes back to how much those sand filters are clogged.
And that's after having that pump rebuilt. I mean, we thought maybe the pump was the problem. And we sent that to the people that take care of our, lift station pumps. And they rebuilt that and we got it put back in there and it's still not doing what it's supposed to do.
So with
the
that,
impellers and all that stuff.
that chlorine block, how much can you dump any more chemical in there to
Well,
see if it'll work once you get it? If it will work eventually, or?
He's gonna talk to Chip on Wednesday. We have like 150 more liquid pounds of muriatic acid, which we've used last summer twice. Really eats it, but we have to really know that we can put it in the balance tank. That's what's caused all of this. Chemicals should not be directly put in the balance tank because it feeds right into the filters, and so
That's
all
where a
this
lot of
powdered
that
chlorine was
powdered chlorine
getting
went.
dumped into the balance tank, and it just doesn't dissolve. I mean, it's only for emergent use. That's when we have feces in the pool or just something quick we need to clean up. That's the only reason it's for that. You can look back at financials and see how much was purchased.
And it's
see how
supposed to be
much was
put in the
there.
pool, not in the
On the balance
balance
tank.
tank.
But we're talking to Chip on Wednesday. I think he's coming Wednesday. That's our chemical guy, very intelligent guy. And so they're just going to ask if we can dump that right there so it can go right into the sand filters to help.
Yeah, it should, hopefully that would help break some of that stuff up in there. Maybe we won't have to.
Is there any way to break that concreted chlorine up to help the chemical mix with it better?
That's what this
You
TSP
can't
was
get in
for.
there.
You can't
Yeah.
get it.
The opening's this big, and the sand filter's probably from here to the television.
And the opening's on the side, not the top?
Yeah.
It's on the side.
Okay.
Yeah, when they had it open, it was just, I mean, it's just solid. I mean, it should be sand that's like
Like
playground sand,
Right.
and
Real
it's
fine.
just solid.
All right, well, while you're standing here, any other issues with the pool? Everything else going well?
No, but I have a win. So we have 26 lifeguards coming on staff. So,
Nice job.
yes, super excited
Maybe.
about that. But I mean, in the end, like for, I think the pool will be operational. That's what Tony had said. The
You betcha.
end parts. If we have to just not have slides, which that's depressing, but hopefully that if it gets fixed, we can have those. But I mean, in that aspect of it, it's going good. So, and I want to bring a huge thank you to you all for approving the swimsuit policy, because I have a ton of happy guards that get to pick all their swimsuits out. So that's been fun. We have just, obviously they send them to me, we approve them, make sure they're modest and still just meet our expectations on that. But they've been really upbeat about that. So
And on Saturday, we had orientation.
Yep, had our orientation. That's where a majority of them had to catch some didn't receive emails, but just follow-ups today. And so, yeah, I had another one tonight. I need to reach out to Sammy about that. I was on the fence about if she was going to be able to come back, and she is. So that puts us at 26 or 27 now. So but I'm excited. It's a huge number of guards still want to come on.
I'm glad you're gonna let us find somebody to do that, because, I mean, it's not that we couldn't do it, it's just that we get called away for stuff, and they'll be dedicated to that while they're here.
Yeah.
So,
Makes sense.
Okay.
any other questions?
Did you just hear Jeff?
No, I don't care about Jeff.
Don't tell him.
Thanks for that.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Kent.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, guys.
Kent, while you're up here, do you mind talking about Wade coming?
The inspector from KDHE came up, what was it, last Wednesday?
I believe so.
And, not happy with, all the ruts that are, the washouts,
This is for the lagoon and wetland project.
oh, sorry. This is for the lagoon and wetland project.
Thank you.
Anyway, we discussed several things while we were out there, and I don't know if any of you have been out by there, but it looks like all we got planted was wheat, no grass.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, we have to buy a hillside combine if we want to cut it, but
Yeah.
other than that, we're good. But there's no, I don't see any grass in it. Have you been out there at all?
Yeah, there's not much in there.
It's just wheat, and as soon as it dries up and dies, it's done.
That's it.
So, when they did the original lagoons, they planted brome grass and they put alfalfa seed with it and something else, maybe some clover, I don't remember. But when the brome took hold, they sprayed, killed the alfalfa, and the other stuff. And we always had a fairly nice stand of grass out there. He wasn't happy about that the roads weren't put back together. I mean, they weren't perfect, but we could drive out there when it was wet. And you try that now and you're stuck. So, and the street department, Josh had the street department put some rock down there by the wetlands where you first go in that dip, which is good. I think it's the bigger rock, so it's going to be kind of a base.
Right.
And then later on, and maybe you can put it into a good road, going back to gravel road, whatever. But yeah, he wasn't real happy, and he can't get no answers back from.
From a bankrupt company?
No, not from the one that drew the pictures.
From the engineer.
Oh, really?
From who?
The engineering.
Oh.
At least that's what he told me. So
Right now, we're going to lean on that side of it, just because we know that they are also unhappy. So, we're going to keep leaning on that, see where we can go with that. So.
I think you just ought to hire somebody to plant that and then send a bill to the engineering company to fix it.
we need to fix the ruts first.
I'm serious. That's what I'd do. Send them a bill. I know that Juniman over there that does a lot of that highway work. That's who I'd hire. He's not scared of a hill or anything.
There's so much wash out there, it isn't fun.
I don't know when you do that yet, but I don't mind having the idea in
I
reserve.
fix it and then send a bill.
Well, if you need a specialized seed, that Kwapanaski pony, yeah.
Growing it out there.
Locally harvested.
Well, that's definitely not gonna be enough seed though. That's a lot have you been out there at all? You need to, well, it's time for me to take a ride
I was
with,
gonna say, I don't have a vehicle that would make.
last time Lori went riding with me, we got stuck in the snow.
I got my ride here, I'll take you, Colin. We'll go anywhere.
Yeah, I think you need to go out and look because
It's terrible.
there's a lot of washouts and they're only gonna get worse if we don't do something about them. And I don't understand why there wasn't any of that matting put down with the seed in it and all. I mean, I know that would have added a lot to the project probably.
That stuff doesn't cost that much.
No, but I mean, that would have taken probably 3 semi-loads to do that stuff, both places, maybe 4.
We paid well for the project to be
Oh,
done
yeah.
right.
Yeah. Well,
And it's gonna cost somebody more now to have somebody come back in and
Absolutely it
repair
is.
it.
well, that was always my main problem with the ones that we had. They didn't seem to be plumbed right. Because you couldn't, you should go into one at the top end, come out the bottom, go into another one at the top end, come out the bottom, go into one over here at the top, and so it was supposed to be a 120-day turnover time. And that's what they considered treated, and that's when it went back to the river, okay? Well, I think only way we're gonna be able to use one of our original ponds, one of our big ones, is just by gravity flow a little bit. It's not gonna go in there. If it goes into that pond, the original first pond, once we get it dredged out, okay, if we start using that again, then it'll go from there to that new pond, and it'll go south, and then it'll go to the 4th pond, and it's basically skipping that one that's the southwest one.
Right.
So the plumbing never got fixed.
We're just batting 1,000 with plumbing tonight, aren't we?
Well, find out, I guess, keep us informed on what we find out from KDHE's efforts.
I will, and I'll let Josh know what I find out tomorrow or maybe tonight even when I'm calling people.
Perfect.
Thanks, Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
Anything else? Okay.
Okay, last week we celebrated Public Employee Recognition Week. This week is National Police Week. Next week is, I think it's National Utility Week, so. And then, of course, we got Memorial Day after that.
So we send Kent flowers next week?
If you want to, feel free.
For what?
National Utilities Week.
But like I said, we're getting ready for Memorial Day. We're trying to get the cemetery ready. We'll mow this week, and then we'll mow again next week. We'll try to get it weed eated this week, so that way it's ready for that. The airport will be closed this week, either on Thursday afternoon or Friday morning. Olson is sending in a painting contractor to repaint the runway. We're still trying to finalize the date, and then we'll get that out on our Facebook, and we'll also make sure that it's known for the airports. On Highway 77, I got a call from KDOT today. We are still set to let in June. I do not have the exact date. We set the early start date to immediately once we get contracts ready to go. The late start would be in April next year, April 27th. So hopefully it's done this year, but by expanding the timeline to April of next year, we will hopefully be able to get more contractors to bid on it, and then hopefully get the price lessened a little bit. On May 24th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. there is a volunteer day at the Kester restaurant. If anybody wants to help paint, we will be painting the porch. We'll be doing the railing and then also the trellis that's attached to the porch.
What day is that?
May 24th, I believe that's a Saturday. It is.
Is there a time set?
Yes, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And I remember reading in the paper that lunch will be provided. So.
May 24th, what time?
9 a.m. to 3 p.m. And thank you to all volunteers, ones that are going to the restaurant, but then also those from Mother's Day. You know, we really are able to do these great events because of them. So, that is it.
Great. Agreed on that. Standing committee reports. We had the Youth Advisory Committee just met before this council meeting. That's the second meeting. They named their chair and their secretary. And their chair will now be capably leading their meetings moving forward. They had some great discussion regarding they decided on the formatting of their meeting. You got it recapped earlier, so I'll just kind of run through it. They did want to also try to get some more events to get kid involvement, maybe do a back to school bash. They're concerned about safety issues around the school, and since Josh is talking to KDOT on a regular basis, he's going to explore some possibilities about temporary maybe speed limit changes and flashing lights. I know they declined that years ago when we put the bump outs in, but KDOT's leadership has changed and we have different leadership as well, so we're going to keep exploring that as well as possibly some solutions to alleviate some of their parking issues. Crosswalks at 11th Street, crosswalks at 9th Street. There's a couple different basically options. That's kind of TBD. We don't have anything specific there yet. They did say they wanted to send to the Parks Committee a recommendation of changing the daily pool admission prices. They think it's high enough that it's cumbersome to people who aren't going to spend a whole long time there or have a big group of kids to go at $5 a piece. They'd like it to be more like $3. I guess Blue Rapids does $1. I'm not sure what other pools do. We decided that we'd let them send that to our Parks Committee for review and discussion, and then Parks Committee can see a recommendation from there whether they want to send it up to council or not. But since this is the first recommendation to come out of the YAC, we decided that was probably the flow to take. So they're not, at least at this point, recommending direct to council. At least this didn't make sense for that to be the case.
On the parking issue, do they
Yeah.
use the pool parking lot during school? I mean, is that?
I don't think
Would that
they
be
really
available?
do. They park that direction all the way up to the Arts Center, and they probably get pretty close, but we only allow parking on one side of Walnut Street there.
We have tennis tournaments, there's a lot of teams that park down at the
Yes,
pool.
and I know when they block off that parking for tennis sometimes there by the courts, because I hear my kids and other people's kids complain about having to park even further away. I mean, I think everyone is aware that there's a parking issue. School,
Parking is always
us,
gonna be an issue, I think.
without a lot,
Right.
without more designated parking. But they brought up a lot of points as far as, well, people aren't always parking efficiently, like
Yeah,
maybe.
then I say painting
Yeah, paying
parking
lines.
spots. so
Yes, they thought that might actually create more parking. There's also ideas that, hang on one second, that they might go to, you know, to the school board in regards to the parking lot that's by the ag building, whether it can be improved and laid out in a way that it would allow for more. There's how they can encourage kids who can walk to walk instead of drive, which would also help with parking. There's, yeah, carpooling to some extent, because there's different rules for who they can have with them and things. Yeah, well, not that. But they basically were wanting creative solutions, and as far as, I know the school's focused as well on crosswalk safety, and there's a lot of pedestrian traffic and traffic in general down there. So Jeff, you had.
I know that one of the contractors that was bidding on the 77 road, I think they have 120 metric tons of product to take out of there to do that project. There's kind of a big hole there just to the east or to the west.
I don't know that we need to pave for parking.
Just throwing it out there.
I hear what you're saying, but no.
Maybe you should talk to them about doing like, you know, there's probably parents who don't work, who don't have kids at home anymore, grandparents. They could start an Uber. I'm serious, to take kids to school and home.
There's, basically, they want to continue discussions. We're gonna do some research on our side for some of these safety issues. And have kind of a back and forth conversation. But if we can set up a, park committee meeting, that would be great. I don't know how soon that works for folks, but that's one thing. The other thing was again, the crosswalks, the lines, the possibility of talking to KDOT about lowering speed limits temporarily, doing kind of what Blue Rapids does, if you're familiar with the highway through there. That they wanted to send to the street committee to discuss, which makes sense to me. So we probably also need to have a street committee meeting at some point in the near future. The good news is those two committees haven't met recently, so it's timely that they're both coming up. So I guess, do you want to see about setting up those meetings now? Do we have times? Do you want to work that, you know, this week? What's your preference? Sammy, do you want to try to set up times now?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
Get a hold of you this week and see what works.
Okay. So we'll try to set up both of those meetings to discuss those items and anything else that might need to be put on that agenda. Let Sammy know. Or Josh, if you have anything else that needs on those two agendas either, that would make sense. And it might make sense if we want for a representative from the pool, if available, and to come at that time, because if they might have thoughts or questions, that might make sense as well. As far as other standing committees that met recently, we've already covered all the topics discussed. The Police and Fire Committee discussed the fireworks changes that we have tabled till next meeting, and the Water and Sewer Committee discussed the separate water taps, connection fees, and grinder pumps, all of which were covered earlier in the agenda.
Yep.
So there's your standing committee recap.
We don't need the police and fire to work on the speed limit there by the school, do we?
Not at the moment. Let's find more information out first.
TBD.
And that might be police and fire, that might be street. We'll see.
Okay.
I see no appointments or wage determinations. We do not have the city attorney here tonight. Does anyone see a need for an executive session this evening?
No.
Okay. We will move to council comments. Lori.
Got my little notes. Jackson, west of 77. Can the police maybe put up their little please slow down sign right there? Because I'm getting a lot of complaints of a lot of speeding down that road.
The radar trailer?
Yeah.
Is it still, it's in functioning condition? I know we've had up and down issues.
Yeah, if we could just put that on Jackson for a little while, that'd be great.
Where's Jackson?
No, I think it was.
We can get it
solar
hooked up.
retardant.
Like when you're coming south, like in from south of town and you turn.
Yeah.
To go to the bus barn that way?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's crazy speed limit sometimes through there,
Yeah, so.
all the time.
So I only have that, and the Mother's Day market was, I thought it was good. A lot of people in town, brought a lot of people to town. which we like to see.
Absolutely.
So, that's all I got.
Okay, Colleen?
I had somebody come to me today, and I know they worked on the restrooms at City Park.
Yeah.
And they were concerned because they had to use it, and the shower curtains in the women's don't close and cover all of it.
So, we are waiting to do the floors until the person that is able to do the floors can do them, and then we will put in new stalls, new stall doors, all of
Okay.
that. So.
So
yeah,
I would think, any idea how long that's gonna be?
we will get in touch with him this week, just to try to get more of a timeline. We were really hoping it was gonna be before Mother's
Yeah.
Day. Unfortunately,
So I
that did not happen.
suggested, well, maybe they need to do a curtain, cut a curtain in half and put a curtain and a half on each stall so that it covers. So if somebody's in there, you can't be seen what you're doing. And at least, and that's a pretty economical fix until they get everything else done. And I had told them I thought we were putting new epoxy floors on the floor, so. That's the only thing I have.
Okay. Jeff?
Nope.
Jeff?
Yeah, any or start time on 11th Road?
They already have hit their start date, so now they're in it, but I don't know about actual dirt
Only reason I'm
movement.
asking,
Yep.
because all these people that live out there, if we shut down 11th Road for them to go,
Yep.
and we're working on 12th Road, we don't wanna, they're gonna have to go to 13th, they're all the way across
Or
Keystone in.
Yep,
So we don't wanna make sure we're doing both projects at the same time.
yep.
So if someone's gotta hold up a week, so be it. Just so we get that into somebody's timeline.
Yep, and I don't know when 12th Road will officially start.
I don't know either, just.
But yeah, they'll be able to use Keystone and Spring as a secondary. Yep.
Okay. Anything else, Kevin?
I have-
Chris?
Mother's Day market was awesome. I mean, it was busy, so it was nice to see, just to piggyback off Josh, all the volunteers. Gotta be a lot of people helping out down there, so whoever did help out, definitely very much appreciated. I think it was a big hit. Saw a lot of new vendors, a lot of new things offered. Last couple of years we went, it was kind of the same vendors and stuff, but it was really nice this year. It's nice to see. Me and my family went down there, had a blast, ate really good.
Lots of good food.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hot, but we had a good time. That's all I got.
Colin?
I did notice today at the stop sign at the south entrance of the city park, someone cut it short, leaving with a trailer. Probably should check it. But no, just to kind of piggyback off the Mother's Day market, and chicken barbecue was really good. So thank you all for the volunteers that did make that possible.
Well, rather than beat a dead horse about Mother's Day market, it was good. Before our next council meeting, we'll have our high school graduation. So there will be a lot of traffic in town for that, so be careful, and congrats to the graduates. And without further ado, I have nothing else.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?